Hey plant fam, welcome back to The Sprout. Today we're talking about one of the most popular and misunderstood groups of plants in the world, cacti and succulents. These are the plants that everyone thinks are impossible to kill, and yet so many people end up with a shriveled, mushy, or stretched out mess. Here's the truth. Cacti and succulents are not hard to grow. They just have different rules. They come from dry, arid regions where they store water in their fleshy leaves or stems to survive periods of drought. They're drought-resistant, low-maintenance, and endlessly fascinating. But if you treat them like a fern or a philodendron, they will die. In this video, I'll teach you everything you need to know. The difference between cacti and succulents, light, water, soil, pots, fertilizer, winter rest, common problems, and how to keep them happy. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We put out new plant care videos every week, and I don't want you to miss the next one. Also, drop a comment below. Do you grow cacti or succulents? What's your favorite? I'd love to hear about it. Now, let's get into it. First, let's clear up a common confusion. Are cacti succulents? Yes and no. All cacti are succulents, they store water, but not all succulents are cacti. What makes a cactus is the presence of areoles. Those are small bumps on the flesh where spines, branches, leaves, and flowers grow. Succulents don't have areoles. Most cacti and succulents come from dry, arid regions, so they're adapted to intense sun, low humidity, and long periods without water. But here's the catch. There are also rainforest cacti, like the Christmas cactus, Schlumberga, and orchid cacti, epithyllum. They grow in the tropics, attached to trees. They like partial shade, regular watering, and higher humidity. They need to be treated more like a general houseplant than a desert cactus. We'll talk about them separately. Now let's start with light. Most cacti and succulents need bright light, ideally 6 to 8 hours of direct to filtered sunlight daily, with south or east-facing windows being best indoors. Put them on a sunny windowsill all year round. In summer, you can even move them outdoors to bask in the sunshine. If they don't get enough light, they'll stretch out, becoming thin and pale. This is called etiolation. The plant is reaching for light, and you'll get weak, misshapen growth. In extreme cases, it may look like a completely different plant. Not enough light can also result in a lack of flowers. Now, let's talk about water. This is where most people kill their cacti and succulents. The most common issue is overwatering. You need to water deeply but infrequently. Here's the rule. During the growing season, spring and summer, water thoroughly once the soil feels completely dry to the touch. Soak the root ball completely. Let the excess drain away. Never leave them standing in water. A good soak replicates the conditions in nature where even arid climates get occasional downpours. For potted plants, letting them sit in water for 10 to 30 minutes and then draining is fine, but don't let them sit in water permanently. In autumn and winter, give them a period of rest. Provide cooler conditions and minimal or no watering. Water should only be given if necessary to prevent the plant from shriveling. Cold, hardy cacti grown outdoors shouldn't be watered in the fall or winter at all, as they naturally enter a dormant state. For most indoor cacti and succulents, watering every 2 to 4 weeks in winter is common, but it depends on your home conditions. And here's a myth that needs to die. Succulents do need water. The idea that they need no water at all is ridiculous. They store water, but that's like a canteen. If you keep sipping from it and never refill it, eventually you run dry. So water them, but water them right. Use tepid rainwater if possible. The minerals in tap water can build up to damaging levels and leave white deposits on the leaves of succulents. Now let's talk about soil. This is critical. Cacti and succulents need very free-draining, gritty soil that won't get waterlogged. You can buy a ready-made cactus and succulent mix, or you can make your own using 2 parts of a standard houseplant mix with 1 part coarse sand, perlite, or pumice. A 50-50 mix of potting soil and pumice is a good rule of thumb for excellent drainage. Never use heavy garden soil. Good drainage is non-negotiable. If the soil holds too much moisture, the roots will rot. For outdoor succulents in the ground, the soil must be very free draining. Avoid planting them in heavy clay soils, which become too wet, especially over winter. Consider using raised beds to improve drainage. Now let's talk about pots. Drainage holes are a must. If you have a cute pot without a hole, use it as a cachepot, an outer container. Plant your succulent in a regular pot and slip it inside. Watering a plant in a pot without drainage is a sure way to kill it. Terracotta pots are excellent because they breathe and help the soil dry out faster. Plastic pots work too, but you need to be more careful with watering. Don't go too big. A pot that's too large holds too much soil, which takes too long to dry out and leads to rot. The pot should be just large enough for the root system. Now let's talk about temperature and winter rest. Most cacti and succulents need a cooler winter rest to flower and grow well. During winter, give them a night temperature of around 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, which is about 46 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep them away from radiators. Central heating is fine, but don't put them right next to a heat source. This rest period is essential. If you water and feed them all year, they won't flower. Allowing them to rest encourages flowering. Now let's talk about fertilizing. Cacti and succulents are not heavy feeders, but they do benefit from a little food during the growing season. Feed once a month from April to September with a liquid fertilizer high in potassium, like a tomato fertilizer, or a specialist cactus feed. Don't use a high nitrogen fertilizer. It will cause weak, fleshy growth. Now let's talk about common problems. Let's go through them one by one. Problem 1. Rot and overwatering. Overwatering damages roots, causes stunted growth, blistering, and eventually rotting. The plant looks mushy, brown, or black, often at the base. There's usually no cure. Prevention is key. Make sure your soil drains well and your pot has holes. Water only when the soil is completely dry. Problem 2, shriveling. Underwatering causes shriveling and misshapen growth. If your plant looks like it's shrinking, it needs water. A plant that looks like it's shrinking and wrinkling is a sign of dehydration. Give it a thorough soak. Problem 3, etiolation, stretching. Weak, misshapen plants with long, thin growth and pale color are caused by insufficient light. Move it to a brighter spot. Problem 4, pests. Common pests include mealybugs, spider mites, and scale. Mealybugs look like white patches on stems. Scale insects cause patching on stems and leaves. Wipe them off with rubbing alcohol or use insecticidal soap. Problem 5, corky scab. Brown patches on the skin that shrink to form a scab. This is caused by conditions that are too humid or bright. Gradually improve the conditions. Problem 6, cold damage. Discolored patches or dieback due to excessive cold. Protect your plants from frost. In cold climates, hardy succulents can survive outside with winter protection, but most need to be brought under cover or wrapped. Here's where you come in. Drop a comment below. Do you grow cacti or succulents? Have you ever killed one with too much water? I'd love to know. Now let's talk about rainforest cacti. We touched on them earlier. Plants like the Christmas cactus, Schlumbergera, and orchid cacti, epiphyllum, are different. They come from tropical rainforests where they grow as epiphytes on trees. They prefer semi-shade, more frequent watering, and higher humidity. Let the soil dry out between waterings, but water more often than desert cacti. They're the exception to the keep dry rule. Give them an east or west-facing window or a south window with a sheer curtain. Now let's talk about outdoor succulents. Some succulents are hardy enough to grow outside in milder climates. These include sempervivums and stonecrops, sedum. They need full sun and protection from winter wet. In cold climates, they can survive if the container is insulated with bubble wrap or hessian and placed in a sheltered spot. Some cold-hardy cacti can tolerate frost, but they still need protection from winter moisture. Now let's talk about repotting. Repot when the plant has outgrown its pot, usually in spring. Choose a slightly larger pot. Don't go too big. Gently loosen the root ball. Use fresh cactus mix. If your plant is spiny, use thick strips of folded newspaper or an oven glove to hold it. After repotting, wait a week or two before watering to allow any damaged roots to heal. Let me give you a few quick answers to common questions. How often should I water my cactus? Not on a schedule, only when the soil is dry. In summer, that might be every 1 to 2 weeks. In winter, every 4 to 8 weeks. Why is my succulent losing leaves? Overwatering or underwatering? Check the soil. Can I save an overwatered cactus? Sometimes, if the rot hasn't reached the top, you can cut off the healthy part, let it callus, and replant. Why is my cactus not flowering? It probably didn't get a cold, dry winter rest. Give it cooler temperatures and less water in winter. Let's wrap everything up. Cacti and succulents are fascinating, low-maintenance plants, but they're not no maintenance. Give them bright light, well-draining soil, a pot with drainage holes, and deep but infrequent watering. Give them a cooler, drier winter rest. Feed them monthly in summer. Watch for rot, stretching, and pests. Here's the most important thing to remember. The golden rule of succulent and cactus care is this: when in doubt, don't water. They'd rather be dry than wet. Learn to read your plant. If it's shriveling, it needs water. If it's mushy, it's too late. Most people kill them with kindness, so be a little lazy. You'll be rewarded with long-lived, fascinating plants that bring character to any space. Before you go, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Are you growing cacti or succulents? What's the most interesting one in your collection? I'd love to know. Also, what plant should I cover next? Air plants? Ferns? Calatheas? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care of your plants, and they will take care of you. See you in the next video.